Welcome to another section of the A2 Library tutorial series. That is the A2 Library Python programming tutorial series. And this today's tutorial is going to focus on some operations that can be performed on list, actually. So we are going to talk about modifying, appending, inserting, deleting, and also removing an item from the list. So modifying an item in the list, appending or doing, so appending of items in the list, inserting of items in the list. You also have deletion of items and also removing of items, all with respect to the list. This tutorial is brought to you by Ube, and let's move on to our next slide, actually. So this is what we are going to focus on. So we are saying that to modify items basically means that you want to change an item in your list. Okay, so if you have an item in there, and let's say you want to do some changes, let's say there's an item in your list called, let's say, Kwame. You want to remove the Kwame and replace it with Obed. That is what modifying. Now we have appending. That is adding an item to your list from the last. So let's say if you append an item to your list, it means that the update of item in your list, you see it from the last aspect. Let's say if you have items like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your list, and you append any additional item into your list, the next one will be the sixth one. That is why we are saying that adding an item to your list from the last. Okay, sure. Now we have the insertion. The insertion basically means that you are going to add an item to your list based on position. So you know that our item in our list, the count starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So if you have an item, let's say Obed representing index 0 in your list, you can specify that, okay, this time around, the position that is 0, I don't want it to be Obed. So it's like, okay, position 0, replace that, replace Kwame. So this time around, it's like we have shifted the item that was previously in position 0. So Obed shifts to the next position, and the Kwame replaces 0 as you've indicated. That is it for the insertion. All right. Now, and we also have deleting. Should in case you want to delete an item based on the position. So you want to delete something from your list, but you do not intend to use that item anymore. We use the word deletion. We have the pop. Pop basically means that it's also like you want to delete an item from your list, but the difference between the deletion and pop is that with respect to the pop, you have the intention of using the item that you have deleted from your list. You have the intention of using it again in your program. Okay. Now we have the remove. The remove method basically is just to, it also delete an item from the list, but this time around you are going to specify, or you are going to be specific. Let's say you don't know the position like that of the deletion. You don't know the position. Let's say index 0, delete index 1, delete index 2. You don't know the position. Okay. You are going to use the remove should in case that you know the value in there. Let's say remove Obed from the list. That is the difference. So we are going to do a demo, then we will the appending is a method, insertion is also a method. Delete, we have the pop is a method, remove is a method. So the appending, we are going to see some braces in there, like the pop and also the remove. Okay, so let's start with something. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to use my PyCharm. So let's start with a comment. So you're saying this program is going to provide 3 items in a list. We are going to add another item to the list using so we are going to add an item to the list. We are going to use modify. Okay. That is, we are just going to apply some changes in there. We are going to modify it. Okay, so we have modified. So how do we modify an item in there? Then we are also going to, so we are going to add, no, so we are going to replace, sorry, we are going to replace another item to the list using modify. Yes, we are going to replace. We are going to replace another item to the, let me change this statement. We are going to replace another item to the list, which is known as, because modify is not a method. So let's say, which is NOW, which is known as modify. We are going to add another item to the list from bottom or last using append. We are going to insert an item into our list using the insertion. That is the insert, okay? All right. We will finally delete. And when we do the deletion tool, we are going to do pap, and we are going to also do a remove, okay? Okay, so you are seeing that starting with a list. Names of students. So we have Kwame, Obed, Kwabena. They also have Nana. All right, so these are names of students. Actually, let's print what we have for you to see the items that we have. So you are saying print. We have names of students. Okay, all right. So this is what we have in our list. That is Kwame, Obed, Kwabena, and Nana. Okay, sure. So what are you going to do next? We are going to replace another item. Replace another item in the list, which is known as, so we are going to replace, let's say we are going to replace Kwame with Sarah. Okay, so that's how, so when you are doing replacement, it means what we are modifying, okay? So we are saying that names of students, so our index, that is 0. We want to replace Kwame here with Sarah, and the index for Kwame is what, 0. So we are saying that equal to, we have SARAH, okay? Now let's go ahead and print. So yeah, there's no Kwame over here. Now we have Sarah. Okay, sure. So let's comment this. Replacing Kwame with Sarah. Okay, so let's move on to our next one. We are going to add another item to the list from the bottom. So this time around, we have Sarah, Obed, Kwame, Nana. We don't have Sarah, Obed, Kwabena, Nana. We don't have Kwame anymore. So we are going to add someone like, let's say, Set to Nana. Okay, so adding another value to our list. That is the append. So we have name student dot append. That's what we have over here. Okay, so what do you want to add? So you want to add SETH. You can go ahead and just add a value. And when you are adding a value, you're not supposed to bring the single quotes. This one is a string. That's why you see the single quote in there. You can use a single quote or double quote over here. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and print this. So we are going to have, we replace Kwame with Sarah. So we are going to have, or we are expecting to have Sarah, Obed, Kwabena, Nana, and Seth. Okay, so that's what we have over here. Okay, sure. Now the next one is we are going to insert an item into our list using the insertion. Okay, so I'm going to Sarah happens to be the first. For the first one, we replaced Kwame with Sarah. So we were having Sarah, Obed, Kwabena, and Nana. Now the second option to be appended or we added a set to our list. That is Sarah, Obed, Kwabena, Nana, and set. And set, that's what you are seeing over here. Now the next thing we are supposed to insert an item into our list using the insertion. So that one is going to be based on the position. So even though this one is indexed as a 0, we are going to replace another item over here, and we want that item to be first. That is 0, not index 0, not Sarah. Okay, so inserting item to your list based on position. So we have names of student dot insert the first position. We want our next list to be over here. That is, it comes first before the Sarah. So the position for that index is what 0. What name should we give it? Let's say root. Okay. Let's say Kate. All right. So now let's go ahead and print. So you have Kate over here. So that is it for the insertion. Now we are going to do delete. So with respect to the delete, you are supposed to delete the position actually. So position meaning that the index. So we have deleting an item from the list based on position. Okay, so deleting an item from the list based on position. So we use del to replace del meaning deletion or delete. Then we have our list name, that is name of students. Let's say we want to delete Kate over here. So the index is what 0. So we have this 0. Okay. Now we move on and print name of students. Okay, so now the Kate is deleted. So we have what Sarah. Okay, so that is it for deletion. So when you use the delete function, it means that you don't have any intention to actually use whatever you have deleted from the list. But if you want to delete something from the list, but you really want to use that particular thing that you have deleted in the course of your program or when your program is running, that is when we use the pop. So the pop method, actually when you use the pop without specifying the index, is going to remove the last item. So currently this is what we have. So let's do the pop and see. So we have using the pop method to remove an item from our list. So name of student dot pap. I do not specify any index over here. Okay, so let's see what happened. I'm going to print. We are having set as our last item. So let me print this one after using the pap method. So realize that set is off. Okay. All right. Now you can remove this one. We can you can remove an item, and when you remove an item, you can assign whatever you have done to a variable, then go ahead and print that word variable. So let's say that this time around, I have names of students dot pap. I want to remove Sarah. So currently this is what we have. So Sarah, the index for Sarah is what, 0. Now that is first name. So first name in list. So you can go ahead and print. And go ahead and print first name. You're expecting it to print Sarah. Okay. All right. So that's Sarah. Okay. So we pop this time around. We give it an argument that is index 0. Remove Sarah from the list and assign it to what the variable first name. Okay. So we are done with what pop. Now you can also do this without not assigning it to a variable and go ahead and print it. So we have this. So before that, okay, so let's just remove this one. Let me just okay, so we have the first name. This is the name of student.pap. So remove this one. Okay, this time around, I don't actually want to assign it to a variable. I just want you to. That is, it's going to give you the same. This is so I don't want to assign it to a variable. So we remove this, and so let's go ahead and print. When you don't do this, then you print name of student. It's actually not. It will remove Sarah, and it's going to print what we have over here. So you realize that pap 0. Pap index 0, and index 0 was to remove was Sarah. And so if you go ahead and print name of student, it's going to print the remaining items in the list. That is Obed, Kwabna, and Nana. Okay, so let's run this. You realize that so we have Obed, Kwabna, and Nana because we pap this particular one 0. If you do pap without any index number, it's going to remove this last value. That's what we saw over here. So set was off. Now we pop this one 0. You mean this one goes off. Then we printed the entire list again. But we can see whatever has been removed from the list, but assigning it to what? A variable. So that is it for what? Pop. Now you realize that with the delete, we use what the index value. With a pop to we also it's either you don't pass it any argument so that it will remove the last value, or you pass it with an argument. That is what the index value, the position. Now this time around, assuming that you have a lot of items in there and you don't know the exact position, that is the index value, you don't know, but you really want to remove the item from the list based on its value. So you want to remove Obed, you want to remove Kwabena, but you don't know the index value. That is when we use the remove method. Okay, so we are saying that all right, so we have name student dot remove. What do you want to remove? You want to remove Obed, and make sure that whatever you want to remove, that's the same spelling over here. Okay, so we have print. So let me comment this one. based on the value. Okay, so remove this, print name of student. Let's run this. So currently, when we print this one, we are expected, or we are just going to see Kwabena and Nana, because we are not going to see this one. This one is off, Obed is off, so let's run it. Okay, so you see Kwabena and Nana. All right, so today's tutorial focus on we started with a list, replace it with an item. That is, when we are replacing an item, we call it what? Modifying or changing it. Then we added another item using what? Append. That one you can, it adds to the list. That is the last aspect. The addition is being done to the last value. Then inserting, that one we use the insertion method. That is, we insert based on the index position. Okay. All right. So it shifts to the right. So if you say insert something at index 0, it shifts this. Index something as index 1, it shifts Obed. Insert something at index 1, a shift Obed. Insert something at index 2, a shift Kwabena. That is it for insertion. Then we use deletion or deleting. Okay, so when you delete an item, it means that you actually do not want to use it in your program anymore. So we use the delete, and that is the list name. Then we pass it with an argument. That is the index position that you want it to be deleted. We went ahead and we printed the name of student. Now use the pap. When you use the pap without any argument, it removes the last item. But when you pass it with an argument, that is the index value, it goes ahead and remove that particular value associated with the index value. Okay, so but with a pap, we said that you can reuse whatever has been removed from the list. You can reuse it by assigning it to what? A variable. Then we have the remove. The remove also helps when you actually don't know the index value of the item in the list. That is, you don't know whether the index is 0, 1, 2, but rather you know the value. Specifically, you know the value. So you go ahead and use the remove method and specify the value. All right. Thanks once again for watching the AT Library Python programming tutorial series. And remember to subscribe to the channel, because this is the introductory, but we will move on to the intermediate and advanced, doing several projects with what? Python. Thank you.